Hi, my name is Holly Booz, and I'm an integrated nutrition health coach. And I have one question for you. When was the last time you felt your best? And I'm gonna let you sit for a second and just kind of think about this for a second. So, when was the last time you felt your best? So, that could be emotionally, you felt more support, you felt more fulfilled, you felt like you were honoring your authentic self, you felt more yourself, that you could express yourself. You felt the most lit up or inspired. You felt your healthiest. You felt like you looked your best, fitness wise, and everything outside of that. And a really interesting thing happens when I ask my clients this. So the next continued question would be, what was it about that time in your life? So sometimes, I get a mixture of responses, and that could be literally all the way back to like toddler years because they had a really safe household unit and they missed their parents, or high school because high school was when they were on the track team and they felt like they were going somewhere. They had a lot of hope for their future, and they loved the fit feeling that they had because they were waking up every morning at 5:30 to meet their track team to run 5 miles or whatever it might be. And then some other people, have a little bit not as nostalgic. Well, I guess it is equally nostalgic, but looking back a little bit more humorous is a time when they were able to consume alcohol or any food that they wanted, and they didn't see the impact on their body. They didn't feel like they got hit by a truck the next day. Or a time in their life when they were able to get out of bed not feeling like they were hungover, even though they didn't drink the night before, which is a common one as you get older. And the whole purpose of this question is to really sit and assess and analyze what was it about that time in your life that did something for you. What were some of the emotions that you felt? Sometimes, sadly, we can't replicate some of the things that we really loved about our childhood because maybe people have passed on who are no longer here who gave you that sense of security and support. But one thing that we can take from this is the things that made us feel a certain good kind of way. And while we can't replicate that actual thing, we can replicate that actual feeling with different antidotes or replacements. And then we can also better assess and kind of take a full assessment of what it is that we're doing that maybe we weren't doing in the past. So, sometimes people pick up routines or behaviors that aren't supportive of them that they didn't have. An example of this for me is coffee. I have this love-hate relationship with caffeine and coffee. And when I'm feeling a little burnt out, I start to realize, even though I've shifted from drinking full caffeinated coffee to half caffeinated. I do half caffs now. Sometimes that's not enough. If I'm going through a time of stress, I feel really out of sorts. It makes me anxious, and I kind of am fight or flight mode. I go through my entire day and like kind of having a hard time catching my breath. So when I look back on certain times in my life where I felt like the most supported or secure, I wasn't drinking coffee. I wasn't drinking coffee back then. And then there were times in my adult life when I felt really good when I had given up coffee. So this is just this reoccurring thing for me to be like, oh, maybe this is not a supportive behavior. So this question, again, is just your opportunity to assess, what are some things that maybe that you are doing that you weren't doing back then, that you want to remove, or maybe there are some things that you would like to bring back. Maybe, again, like back to like if you were in a certain art club and you really loved the group that you met when you were doing art and you loved the way you felt being able to express your creativity through art. Maybe that's something to check back into. There are really awesome meetup groups that you can find online There are also really cool classes that you can come across. And it's just an opportunity to encourage you to figure out ways to fill some of those holes or feelings of lack. And at the end, the reason why today, like you're not feeling like why the answer wouldn't be to my question today is I'm feeling my best, which that could be for some of you. And golf clap if it is. I think that's amazing and incredible. And keep doing that. Maybe take even note of what you are doing now so that years don't go by or even the holidays go by and you sit and you're like, why do I feel out of sorts? And then you go back and you're like, oh, I was on my really good, morning walk routine, or I was, doing my green juice every day or whatever it might be. And then you're able to remember, oh yeah, I need to add that back because that was really supportive. So just an opportunity to give you that time to really assess just with that one question. And I hope that today this kind of sparks something for you. Maybe you're able to figure something out to better support yourself so that you can feel like you're living your optimal life in your optimal self.